it would hurt to know if you ever were untrue.
Welcome back to BEYPER.View. This is episode number 3. Today we have with us Phil Halani from Percy Plunkett, one of the best cafe/eateries in Penrith.
Thanks, brother. How you going?
Not bad, yourself?
Very well, thank you.
How you been?
Thanks, very well, man. Thanks for inviting me on. It's very humbling when people want to know the story and know what this, a bit about myself and the shop, and it's really cool.
It's great. Well, it's just very interesting to be able to talk to people like yourself that have a big part in the local community, because it's just it's ridiculous. Everyone that I talk to that I ask, have you been to Percy Plunkett? And they're like, oh my God, you got to try this, you got to try that.
That's
it's
awesome.
It's just like I've been there, I've done it.
It's honestly, that's been probably the most humbling thing, has been hearing that is like the best kind of marketing is word of mouth, right?
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. So for me, it's, I do want to know when something's not right because we can make it better. But
definitely
hearing that kind of feedback, man, it's
the best.
It's so good.
It's the best thing that you could ask for. You don't need to spend any money on it. It's all from what you're doing in the shop.
Exactly, man. And I'm very proud of what we've created. So it's to hear that, to keep hearing that is a really special feeling. 18 months on, it's a good feeling.
It's amazing.
Thanks for that, man.
Not a problem. All right, I'm going to jump into the first question so
Please.
we can get the ball rolling and get this all happening. And as I was saying before, you can take as long as you want to elaborate on this, touch on certain subjects, however you choose. First question: who are you, and how did you get to this point in life, to opening up Percys? Any issues or speed bumps you had along the way getting to where you are? I'll leave that up to you.
It's a long story, a bit boring, but it's a long story.
Right. We've got plenty of time.
Born in Lebanon, came to Australia when I was 1 year old. So obviously lived my whole life in Australia. Family have owned takeaway shop, milk bars for as long as I can remember.
Been there plenty of times.
You've been to those shops.
Been there plenty of times. Yep.
Yeah, the last shop which they still own is called Halani's. I've been there 21 years.
Yep.
It's pretty much been my whole life. So grew up in the industry. I was saying to the guys a few weeks ago that growing up in it, I hated working in the shop.
Yeah,
I just imagine. Yeah, I just didn't want to be there when I was 14, 15. I wanted to hang out with mates.
Definitely.
But what it taught me is kind of like where it helped me set me up for where I am now. And so I worked a few years. I worked pretty much from 14, 15 to about 30 years old at Halani's.
Yep.
Worked the first 4 or 5 years just working. In the last 8 to 10 years, I ran the shop.
Nice.
And then obviously in between, moved to Brisbane to play football. Got married.
Yeah.
Had a couple of kids.
Life,
man.
life.
And it's been an amazing life. I'm pretty blessed. Like I've had a pretty good life.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had to struggle for much. I've had to work very hard.
Yes,
but
definitely.
I haven't had to struggle for much. And my parents gave me this amazing business to run.
Yep.
Which meant no capital outlay for me, but at the same time it meant I had to do the 80 to 100 hour weeks.
You got to do the work. That's right.
Yeah, like it's they had this amazing business, and I'm proud of where I got it to. But at the same time, if I didn't do the hard work, the shop wouldn't be where it's at.
It wouldn't be there, that's right.
Yeah, totally. So now my brother's running it and he's doing an amazing job.
It's great.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty proud. Like it's the shop set me up pretty much for everything that I have now.
Yeah.
Personality-wise, you work in the shop long hours, you become like the shop's your life.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Dealing with all the people that come in every day, the regulars,
Massively.
the people that don't come in every day that get the shits with something.
100%, man. The good, the bad,
that's
everything.
Right.
So for me, Halani's really defined kind of like my teenage years, my adult years.
Yeah.
It was a great learning experience. When I moved back from Brisbane, I moved to Brisbane for a year to play football. That didn't work out. So I came back to Sydney. From then on, I was like, I want to save some money. I want to buy a house. I want to travel. So I worked pretty much
every day.
Yep. And then worked really hard, set some goals, achieved those goals. But cafes was always a dream. After footy didn't work out, which was about 19, 20.
Yep.
I wanted to open my own cafe. So
that was it was gonna happen. It's just a matter of time.
Well, it's funny because it took me 12 years to open it, man. I'd say pretty much 10 to 11 years before we found Percy's.
Yep.
But 12 years till we opened. So I wanted to open it when I was 20, and then 12 years later, I was in a
lot of groundwork.
So much, man. I was scared. Like comfort zone. We're talking about your brand, your clothing brand. And
it's hard. It's hard. Yep.
So it was a big struggle, man. I really, really struggled getting out of my comfort zone. The last few years, I didn't love it, but because it was a family business, I still treated it as if It was it was my own business, and so I knew the last 2 years I was no longer motivated by just money. I needed to create something that I was proud of.
Yep.
So that's where Percys comes into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Farragar, I'm not sure if you know Jake at all.
No, I don't think so.
So Jake's business partner at Percys.
Yep.
He's got the franchise nutrition station. He owns the whole company.
Yep.
So he's always known I wanted to open a shop. So every time something opened up, like something was opening or for lease, he'd say, "Hey, what do you think? Do you want to get involved?" Because he knew I wanted to open a cafe.
Definitely.
And he wanted to be involved. So.
Yep.
Percy's pretty much came about because he messaged me about the site for lease. I had seen it 2 years earlier.
Okay.
It looked terrible. I walked in and walked out. I said, "No, I'm not interested."
not interested.
Not interested, man. And then I walked. It was for sale as a Thai restaurant at the time.
Well, that's what it used to be. That's right.
Did you ever eat there?
I can't remember if I ever have or not.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have, because when I do ask them, "Have you been to Percy's?" and they're like, "Oh, is that where the Thai restaurant used to be?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You need to go there." Or it's always the same. "Oh, have you tried this? Or have you tried that?" And they'll word vomit. So that's great, but I don't think I've been there.
Yeah, well,
I may have. I can't remember.
the food was actually quite good, but
Yep.
it was never going to work because it was like a house.
Yeah, that's right.
You had 4 different rooms. It just was not going to work.
Yeah.
The food was great though, and then when it became for lease, once the business kind of closed up, Jake messaged me. He's like, "Come have a look." I said, "No, I'm not interested."
Not
He's
interested
like,
in being there.
He's like, "Just come have a look. You'll see it. It's empty now." So man, the first thing I did, I walked in with Jake. Jake's a big part of making Percys a reality.
Yep.
We talk about comfort zone and scared, and every time I had a fear of something, he'd be the guy that
that pushed.
Yeah, that push. And he's resilient, like the most resilient human.
You have to be.
You have to be.
You
man.
have to be.
So so we obviously looked at it, walked in, and there was something in it. Like this time around, I walked in, I said, "Yeah, bro, let's do it." Like,
yeah, you can start to see it.
Yeah.
See it happening.
Because the 2 years between me, the first time I looked at it and the second time, I'd done a lot of not necessarily personal development, but more like I started working at cafes for free. I started reaching out to cafe owners. I started just doing all these things. So I think I opened up my eyes to a lot more opportunities. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And then man. And then 2018, May 1st, 2018 is when we opened Percy's. So
it's crazy. So crazy.
It's been a crazy 18 months, man.
Man, every time I see something on it about anything about Percy's on social media, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, even if it's like an article, and I think it was the Western Weekender, done a few articles about it.
Yeah, they've done a few articles when we open, before we open. We've had a couple of cool little articles online.
Yeah.
Random article overseas that named us one of the top 14 cafes in the world.
Yeah, wow.
Which was weird, but
it's a massive achievement.
Man, I mean, I don't know where this magazine was from, but I'll take it, bro.
Someone's opinion, and you just run with it.
100%.
You have to.
100%.
You have to. That's crazy. I've never heard or seen a bad word, which is it's got to be a testament to what you've done.
Thank you, man.
And the effort you put in to get it to where it is now. Because you can see it walking into the place. You can see it's like a family. Everyone that works there is on point. Everyone's got a smile on their face. I've never seen someone walking around like they're just there to make a wage or something. You know what I mean? So
that means a lot. Like, hear that, because that's exactly what I wanted to create.
Yeah,
I wanted to create a family, and I think we've done that. Don't get me wrong.
I definitely think so.
Yeah, thanks, man. Honestly, it's I'm very proud of that. And it's very nice to hear that you haven't heard a bad word. Like, that makes me very proud. I know there's been.
I'm not sure what you've heard.
I'm always on checking out reviews or replying to reviews,
definitely.
and you hear some bad things. I used to struggle with the bad reviews.
Yep.
Really badly. First one, I don't think I slept for a week.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, slept, but obviously, like
you're constantly going over how you can change it,
totally.
Why it happened, how it happened.
Yeah. So now, I'm so grateful for anyone that writes a positive review, but when someone writes a negative review, it gives us an opportunity to get better.
To expand on that and make it better. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm always open. So if someone gives me good constructive negative feedback, I'll listen to it. I'll take it on board. Sometimes there's been, like, for example, our first menu item on one of the first menu items at Percy's.
Yeah.
I think it was a Texas burger. It was like a beef burger.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, like, it was a great burger, but it was just the meat was a bit inconsistent. Okay. And I think 1 week I got like 3 bad comments about it, so I took it off the menu. Like, I was just like, nah,
get rid of it.
Yeah. And then now I've got a new burger, which is amazing, and it's a lot more consistent. And
that's what you want.
So I'll never be. We'll never be perfect, so I'm always striving for that perfection. Like, I know we'll never get there, but the goal is progress, not perfection, right?
Yeah, exactly right. It's constantly bettering what you've had in place. So
100%.
And like you were saying, that constructive criticism is what you want. That's how you get better. Because if no one tells you you're doing anything wrong, how can you
Yeah, exactly.
how can you get better? So
100%. I'm always telling friends and family, like, please be as brutal as possible. And
Yep.
sometimes I'll say things and I'm like, cool, that's just a personal opinion. But
Yep.
a lot of the times, man, I want to make sure it's the best experience every time you come in.
yeah, definitely. Well, every time me and Emma go there, it's not the same, but it's the same every time we go there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's warm, it's inviting, it's welcoming. The coffee's always fucking amazing.
That's
the
awesome.
food's always great, and the atmosphere is just ridiculous. And
So good, mate. You're gonna be
crazy.
my marketing guy. My
I doubt it. But no, but it's great, and everyone, like I've said it a couple of times already, and I'll probably say it a couple more. That every person that I've spoke to that has been there doesn't have a bad word to say, just because of the atmosphere. They're like, even if the food was shit, like the vibe is just great. You just sit back and have a coffee, and it's fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're always like, we're always trying to make sure we tick the boxes of food and coffee, experience, entertainment, service. So there's so many boxes we have to tick. And I think, as the first menu I brought out, I look at it now and I'm like, man, we're so much better than we were a year and a half ago. But back then I thought it was an amazing menu.
Yeah, that's right.
So in a year's time, this menu now, I'll look at it and be like, cool, that was great, but this is going to be even better. So always working, man. Always working to get better. So.
Always non-stop. Just like some of the things that we've got planned and doing this podcast. It's the next guest and the next kind of experience, I guess, is to move away from this, obviously, because it's great to have it at home and it's kind of a bit personal and stuff, which is great. If I could make it into more of a studio environment, that would be a lot better. But it's only a couple bedroom house, like we're kind of limited for space. So
well, there's that amazing quote that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
To be great, that's exactly right.
As long as you start, bro. Like, how many people do you know, me included, that said they want to start a podcast and haven't?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've done it, man. You've nailed it. And you've done a couple of podcasts, and
I wouldn't say we've nailed it. I wouldn't say we've nailed it.
Just opening the fact that you started the podcast.
The amount of negative feedback that I had about starting it, and every single one of them starts with, what are you trying to be, Joe Rogan? It's like, no, I'm trying to be me. Like, I want to be me. Joe's cool because what he does with the podcast and everything like that is just amazing. Like, that's
100%.
He's at the top of that game, so of course that's what people would strive to be. But I have no aspirations to be Joe Rogan.
Be yourself.
I want to be me. That's right.
100%.
So if I get that far, I doubt it, but that's just me blowing it off. But if I get half of that, like, that's way further than I could have imagined to go. So all I want to do is sit down and have a conversation and meet people. That's all I want to do.
Exactly, man. And you're doing it, and we obviously building relationships and networking, and this is the new way of networking, isn't it?
That's right, exactly.
So good on you, man. You should be proud.
So the great thing with this is, same as the first podcast with JV, from Sick FX Snowboards, was I had at least met him once before. So that conversation it just made this style of conversation that much easier,
more natural,
and I see yourself most weekends, so
mate,
it just makes
you're part of the family.
It just makes that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But it just makes that conversation a little bit easier. And the next three or four, there's a few of them that I haven't met, but the next three definitely I have at least met once before. So it makes this interaction just that a little bit easier.
That's awesome.
Because I know when I get to someone that I haven't met, or like if personality clash or something, like it's going to happen eventually, and I already know that, and it's probably not going to be the easiest thing to talk to someone for a while.
That's all right, but you'll still.
I've got to figure it out. As soon as the roadblocks come up, we figure out how to get around it and keep stuff rolling, and we just got to learn. But for now, where I am now is further than I thought I was going to be when I even thought, okay, let's start a podcast. I'm already 10 steps ahead of
100%.
where I thought I was going to be. So straight out of the gate, it's just like, wow, why didn't I do this 12 months ago?
Exactly, man.
But I can't think about the what ifs or why didn't I. We're here now. We started.
And like I said, man, how many people have said they wanted to start one and they haven't? And exactly. You said you're going to start it. Like, it might have taken you a year, but you started.
Yeah.
You know?
It all started because, well, I wanted to do it forever because I had just innate ability to just talk absolute nonsense. And Emma always tells me that I need to just stop talking because I'll talk ear off about everything, every detail, everything about a conversation. And I've been talking about doing it for ages, and it was Emma that told me. She's like, "You need to buy a microphone and you need to do something." I don't think she was sick of hearing me talk, but she's like, "You need to talk to someone and you need to get the shit out of you. You just need to
100%.
talk. So.
And at the end of the day, man, that's a talent. Like, people can't talk.
That's right.
Some people can't struggle to talk, and
Well, this is me learning. This is kindergarten. I'm starting from the bottom, and we're learning. So
you've got to start somewhere, bro.
I don't know what high school is going to look like, but we'll figure it out when we get there.
You're exactly right. You've got
Figure
it this
it out.
far, and I think it's amazing, bro. And that's why, like, first reason I wanted to come on is because I want to support anyone that's trying to do anything good.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and
Appreciate that.
obviously we've become good mates now. We're not just, you're not
That's
just.
right.
That's the beautiful thing about Percy's is I've built a relationship with so many customers. You know.
I could imagine. Every time I see you walking around, you saying hello to someone, you shake someone's hand, it's just
Yeah.
like, this guy knows every single person that lives in
It's
Penrith.
pretty beautiful, man.
crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. That's why we had a break over Christmas and New Year's. 9 days, man.
need to.
I felt lost, but
Yeah.
so I struggled a lot because for 9 days I was like,
What do I do?
Well,
Where is everyone?
exactly, and I don't work that many hours at Percy's as much as I used to, and I kind of walk in. I'll get there at 9, see the guys, say hi to everyone, then I see the regulars, see the guests, and I think I struggled to. I missed the interaction with guests and staff and stuff.
Definitely.
So, yeah, man, it's like I said, man, I think you're doing a great thing with your clothing brand. I think you're doing a great thing with the podcast.
Thank you very much.
You should be
Appreciate
proud,
that.
honestly.
I am. Some days it's hard. Some days because driving the truck for work, I'm gone 10 to 14 hours a day. So by the time I leave, drive the truck all day, and then come home, I come sit at the computer. I'm like, I don't have time for this today. I just want to go to sleep. And then the days I do go to sleep, the next day I'm like, fuck, why didn't I just sit down for even half an hour and just cross some stuff off? And
You can't be too hard on yourself as well. You want to have that balance. You're obviously newly married. You want to make
I
sure.
don't want to burn myself out.
100%. Because then you won't end up doing anything.
Well, exactly right. I've done that previously, just with some other businesses that I've done before. I don't know if you know what hydro dipping is. It's like painting. It's like a water transfer thing. I'll show you some stuff later. But I had my own business doing that. I had a whole bunch of other stuff I was doing as well, years and years ago. But it gets to a point where you just kind of burn out because you don't take time for yourself. So I'd work all day, come home, and I'd do that all night till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, then have to get up at 6 o'clock to go to work again. And I'd do that for like a year or two straight, and then it's just like, I'm over this. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. So the drive has always been there to do something. It's just taken this long to find what that thing is.
And so I think with that as well is you'll only stick to something that you're truly passionate about.
Definitely.
And something you love, right? So I shared something on my Instagram yesterday, and I think it was Steve Jobs talking about when you're truly passionate about something, that's when you do your best work.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so that's where you find the time, and you find,
but
like,
it's not work. You don't class it as
100%,
work.
100%.
So that's the best thing.
Yeah, man. I think it's you got to be careful you don't burn yourself out.
Definitely.
You got a family, you got a missus, you're married now, so
That's
you got
right.
to balance it out. But
That's right. Happy wife, happy life, they say.
100%, 100%.
I'm only a few months in, so I can't.
Well, my
I don't have the data for that yet.
Well, yeah. I'm 7 years in, so my 7-year anniversary is on Sunday, I think.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, brother. She's working on Sunday, so
Cool.
good anniversary. Me and her
Yeah.
working in the shop together.
Yep. Nice. It's
So-
great. All right. Let's jump to the second question. This is a bit more personal, outside of the business.
Yeah.
What passions and hobbies do you have outside of the business?
So definitely my biggest passion outside of Percy's is traveling.
Okay. Great hobby.
Expensive but amazing hobby. I didn't travel much growing up because my parents had the shop.
Yep.
So up until I was about 18 or 19, like even weekends away, never did any of that. I didn't, other than Lebanon, I didn't travel to anywhere. We went back to Lebanon a lot growing up because my parents wanted us to know where we were from.
Yep.
But other than Lebanon,
So lots of family over there as well?
95% of my relatives over there. So my dad's got, he had 13 brothers and sisters. My mom has 6 brothers and sisters. So big family, massive family.
Yep.
So it's beautiful when we go back. But other than Lebanon, I didn't go to any other country or state before I was 18, 19. So once I got the travel bug, man, it's...
Bites hard. Bites hard and it's good.
Yeah, man, I love it. I've travelled so many countries, had so many great experiences, but now it's funny because how I learn and get better at Percy's, I do a lot of research, go to different cafes, restaurants, countries, and see how they do things.
Definitely.
I did a lot of that before I opened Percy's.
Yep.
So my hobby it's funny, it's all kind of goes back to Percy's, right?
So it always does that.
Yeah, so like my goes back to my passion. So I love travelling, but now, like for example, we're going to Melbourne next week. Go see my wife's family, go do some things, but half the trip is going to be researching, seeing what cafes.
Going to other
and
cafes,
yeah,
that's right, definitely.
So it's funny how my biggest hobby is kind of in like mixed with my hobby of Percys,
Yeah, that's right.
What else?
It always comes back to that one thing.
Yeah, for
no
sure.
matter where you go, no matter what you do.
Always comes back, right?
Always.
Yeah. Other than that, man, I don't really have many passions. Obviously, spending quality time with family, which I struggle to do because
of work.
Percys and
Yep.
but yeah, other than I think
That helps for the long term.
yeah, totally.
But down the track, it helps down the track. That's
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't think about. It's always now. Let's worry about now, get the most out of now. It's like, but you've got another 40, 50 years in front of you. Like, what are you going to do then?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, other than that, I mean, like I said, I don't really have crazy passions. I guess food,
Yeah.
again, goes back to
Always, but it does. But that's what's so great. That's what's great about your passion.
yeah, and that's
see
it.
it.
Yeah, it's probably more obsession than passion, right? Like,
Well, I think we spoke about it before at the shop once. You was talking about obsession.
Yeah.
To do it and to really go where you want to go, you have to be obsessed.
oh,
You have to not sleep. You have to put in all those hours
Yeah.
and all the research, and you just have to be dedicated.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
be obsessed.
I agree 100%, and that's like you said when we were talking about it in the shop.
Yep.
It's I'm obsessed with every detail of every bit of the shop, and
But if you weren't, it wouldn't be what it is.
totally, yeah.
So,
And I'm starting to understand that a bit more, but I also got to learn how to kind of
balance.
man.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the key word, so which will never happen. But yeah, traveling would be my biggest passion. I used to love football. I was obsessed with football.
Yep.
Rugby league, but yeah, pretty much traveling cafes now is my passion. So
That's it. Good food, good coffee, good vibes.
What more do you want, right?
That's what you want.
So I love, my biggest thing about going to different places and cafes and restaurants is the experience. Not so much the food and coffee, like I love that part of it, but it's for me going to a venue and walking away going, what an experience. Wow.
That's right.
That's what we try to deliver every time at Percy's. And we don't always get it right, but I think the most important thing is always trying, like I said, progressing and trying to do
That's right.
better.
Getting the, as we were saying before, getting the good constructive criticism back, not just this is shit. It's like, okay, well, tell me
Why?
Tell me how it's shit.
100%.
A lot of people can't tell you, or they just go, they usually can.
Or it could be personal opinion sometimes.
Well, that's correct.
Sometimes, like I remember I was having a burger, one of the recent burgers, two people were having one loved it, one didn't, and it was more just because the flavors in it wasn't suited to them. But
that's right.
sometimes if it's saying it was too cold or something's not right or the meat was undercooked, that's the feedback we need to go and
That's
say.
right.
So we don't go back. I go back to the chefs and I say, why was the meat undercooked? So
That's right.
let's look at our cooking methods and let's look. That's essentially how we get better.
Go through the whole process.
Exactly.
Just like some people like coffee boiling hot, and some people like it just warm. So.
Yeah, it's funny as well. Like I think the older generation a lot more love the coffee hot.
Yeah, definitely.
They love the larges and the hot coffee. But yeah, it's changing a lot, especially now with the younger generation. A lot more. They're more or less like obviously the non-milk bases, so soy, almond, lactose-free, coconut milk.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting the shift into
The
what
whole
people eat.
transition.
Yeah, the transition.
All right. That's a lot of passion for business. Well, a lot of passion for life. Actually.
Yeah, man.
Life and experience.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, number 3. How would you encourage someone that has been putting off starting a business? What is something that comes to mind? If someone was talking to you, I'm kind of thinking about doing this, or like, how would you try and encourage someone or push them towards their goal, I guess?
First thing I'd ask is why.
Yep.
Why do you want to do it? Like, what's the reason?
Definitely.
And then I think I was always the one that was told. Everyone supported me. I was, like I said, I've had a good life. I've never really struggled in like proving people wrong and stuff. But a lot of people are like, why do you want to do that? Like, what's the point? And why didn't you stay at Halani's? It's good money. It's easy. I said, but I'm not happy. Like, it's not what I want to do.
Well, to everyone else, it's comfortable.
Comfort, right? And my dad was the first one, and because he came from overseas and he had nothing, and he worked his ass off to get to where we were now. So for me, telling him I want to go risk everything I have, put my whole life savings, remortgage a house, nearly lose the
into
house.
an idea.
I get why he's not happy about it, but I think, to be honest, bro, like my biggest thing is when now someone comes up to me and asks me, this is what I want to do. I said, are you obsessed?
Yeah, you have
Going
to
back
be.
to obsession, man. Why do you want to do it? And are you obsessed? Like, if you don't, anyone can open a business.
That's
anyone, right? The easiest part is opening a business. The hardest thing is once it's done, then keep doing what you're doing, right?
That's right.
So my proudest achievement is we look on the last 12 months. So we look at from May when we opened last year to December 31st. Then we look at May this year to December 31st this year, and our revenue's grown. So that means that we're doing something right and we're growing.
That's right.
So the first 6 months, everyone wants to try the new place out. Like, but what are you going to do when it starts getting a bit quiet?
Quiet, that's right.
You know, and I'm telling you, man, like there was days where I was like panicking. It was 8 o'clock. We still didn't have our first customer.
Wow.
I still, to be honest, have that. If we don't get a customer, even like
there's only a couple of people in there. You're like, holy shit, what's going to happen?
We open
today?
7 by 7:15. If we haven't got someone, I'm like, that's it, close the shop.
Yeah, it's over for the day.
Yeah. So again, I know I've tracked off a little bit, but my biggest thing is anyone that want my advice would just be if you're obsessed and you love what you're doing. Going back to the Steve Jobs quote, is if you're absolutely obsessed and passionate, man, you know, you got to have desire, you got to be obsessed, you got to be passionate. But that's the only thing I'd ask him, because I don't know, like, and just do your research, man.
Yeah, you have to.
You know, so Percys was the thing with Percys. What I loved about Percys was I felt there was a market for it.
Yep.
So other than Henry Mark High Street Depot, I felt that there's some amazing cafes. Like
definitely,
we're very lucky in Penrith, right?
Yeah.
Emu Hall's recently.
We are now.
Yeah, we've got have a lot better choices. But
That's right.
I felt there was a market for Percys,
Yep.
and it proved that there was. And I think, you know, I had the passion for it. I seen it. So do your research. Find out what the best people in the industry are doing. So
Yep.
with your clothing brand, find out what the 3 top clothing brands are doing.
Exactly.
And don't copy them, because we don't want to copy.
We don't want to copy them. That's right.
But we find out what the best are doing.
That's right.
And then we do it our own
Find
way.
a way to do it our way. That's right.
100%. Danny Myers always talks about he's a hospitality king in New York.
Yep.
And he says there's only so many notes you can play in music. It's how you play them.
That's right.
Is the difference, right?
Yep.
So we find everyone does food and coffee, but
Yep.
why do people come to Percy's and pass 10 cafes on the way to Percy's?
Exactly right.
Because we're creating a different experience, you know?
Or why do we go and park in the Kmart car park just to come and have breakfast and then don't even go to Kmart?
That's amazing, right? And the beautiful thing, the shopping centre have identified that.
Yeah.
And now because we're part of the shopping centre, and
Yep.
now we're taking over next door.
I did listen to that the other day.
Yeah, man, there's some pretty exciting things happening this year.
Yep.
So I was going to say next year, but we're in 2020.
I was just going to say, I might just put them on hold for a second. I heard you talking about some stuff with the property you've got now down near the river, down near Coffee Club. Do you want to run through that? Cause
if you want to hear it, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I heard some stuff you were talking about on the podcast you done with the Goodfellas. That was a good podcast. By the way.
Yeah, they're good guys, man. They
good guys.
They're good fellas, but they're great guys.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, fuck, I got it wrong.
No, they're good guys, man. They're really good guys.
Yeah.
Goodfellas podcast. So.
I've listened to a couple of them now since you told me about them.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's great. I didn't even know that they were around. So
yeah, and they got a great
cool.
gym as well. CrossFit, Zelos CrossFit.
Yep.
Probably do some CrossFit this year. I haven't done any CrossFit before, so I might go do it. So.
Yeah, well, me and Emma have been wanting to go back to the gym for a while now, and every day rolls around. It's like, we're going to go to the gym tonight, and then it's just like, it's 9:30. It's just like,
not happening.
Let's get an early sleep and we'll get up early in the morning.
Yeah.
But then it's been Christmas, so it's been nothing but good food. Tried to have as little alcohol as possible.
How'd that work?
It actually worked really well. Didn't really drink a great deal. A couple of beers here and there, but better than a lot of other years, because usually it's Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's. It's just hell on the liver and the body for recovery.
Well, now it's reset and move forward, right?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. So 2020, new year, new me.
100.
We didn't want to go to the gym on the first though. We didn't want to be those people.
Yeah. So today's the day.
We nearly went on New Year's Eve that afternoon. We're gonna go. We'll get it in before 2020 so we can.
Actually,
we're not those people.
Spoke about that. They're like, start the year off the day before. So.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah,
and a lot of goals. I've got some stuff. Stuff's been up there for a while, but I've got journals and diaries and stuff just all over the house with stuff written in them, and a lot of stuff for 2020 that I had set like 3 or 4 months ago. Because like that, I don't want to get to New Year's Eve and then be like, oh, new year, new resolution.
Yeah.
Like it's already in place, and half the stuff that I've already got planned for 2020, one of them was the podcast, and this is granted we're in 2020 now, but it started last year. So
there you go.
I wasn't going to start it until this year.
Yeah, and the good thing is you got started early because you set the goals earlier.
That's right. So
100%.
So we're starting to get the progression into 2020.
Yeah.
Not starting yesterday or the day before at the very start of the year, and then halfway through the year you're only just starting to get the ball rolling
before you realise.
And it's 2021. So that's exactly right.
So true, man. As you get older, time feels like it goes faster. So
I'm not that old now, and it's still flying by. The last 12 months have just flown by.
It's pretty crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Farm.
Yeah. So concept came about. Obviously, man. I love to travel, and I see some amazing venues out there.
Yep.
And I'm always looking at what can we do for Penrith. Like, obsessed with Penrith. I love Penrith.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's home, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So for me, I think starting Percys was I always wanted to bring people to Penrith to try. Like we always had to leave Penrith to go somewhere nice.
Yeah.
So Percys, half the reason was we want to create a place where we don't have to leave Penrith anymore.
You bring people to Penrith.
Bring people to Penrith. The locals have somewhere to go, so they don't have to leave Penrith.
That's right.
The farm is just a bigger goal of mine, where I'm like, well, now that locals have a place to go, I want to create a place now where people come from all around Australia to come visit, you know. So one of my biggest inspirations is probably the farm, Byron Bay.
Okay.
Have you been?
No.
So
never been to Byron Bay ever.
Oh wow, it's a mad place, man.
Okay.
Really recommend it. So that gave me a lot of inspiration. Check it up online, it's amazing.
Yep.
But a lot of these venues I go to, I might see something, I'm like, why don't we have anything like this in Penrith?
Yep.
You know, why don't we have the big blocks and the crazy venues?
Yep.
So the concept is we signed a 5-acre property.
Okay.
Near the new development in East Bank, where you got the coffee club and the Italian restaurants. So we're about 3 blocks back, so maybe 300 metres away.
Okay.
There's 200 orange trees on site. There's a house. There's a shed.
I know where it is.
Yeah. So we're essentially going to build on what was already there. So massive kids area, very family focused. But we're also going to have animals. We're going to have picnics. We're going to have barbecues, like areas. Like we're talking about smokers. We're going to do weekend smokers.
Yeah, beautiful.
We're going to have functions.
Yeah.
There's a bakery on site. We're potentially going to have a coffee roastery on site.
Nice.
So the concept is you go to Percy's, you eat, chill out, have a chat, spend half an hour to an hour.
Yep.
The idea with the farm is you come for breakfast, you stay for lunch. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
You know
or
what
if
I mean?
you come for lunch, you're going to stay for dinner.
Pretty much, bro. Yeah. So we got a Italian spot on there as well. So pizzas, stuff like that. It's just a cool concept. I don't think there's anything like it in Sydney.
I don't think so.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. You know, like I'm very excited. We've submitted to council, so we've probably got about 3-month wait before we see where we're at.
And then from then, once you get the tick of approval,
say March, April, I reckon a solid 6 months. So September, October.
Wow.
And I think
that's quick.
Yeah, man. It's a big spot. So my goal is to get in there and have different builders working in different parts. So that way, so
we got 5 acres, so you can have a lot going on.
Exactly.
At once.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and this venue is quite big. It's a bit scary. But I really want to give it a go, and I think if we can get it right, we'll have people literally like tourists. Because if you ask a lot of people, I was talking to the Goodfuller guys, is if you have a lot of people in the city, ask them, have you been to Penrith? They'll say no. Then I ask them, have you been to the Blue Mountains? And 90% of the time they'll say
everyone's been to the Blue Mountains.
Everyone, right?
That's right.
So my goal is to create tourism in Penrith and say, let's stop off at Penrith, grab the house-made jams, loaf of bread, go have breakfast.
And where it is perfect too. Just right next to the M4.
Like, exactly. And you're opposite the river. It's proven that area works. The Coffee Club was number 1 in Australia for a long time there. And it shows that if you bring good quality to Penrith,
the people are going to be there.
100%, man. Percy's proved that. There's a lot of venues that have proven that. So I think if we get it right, working really hard to make sure we get it right, I think it'll be pretty special, man, and we'll nail it. So
definitely. It's going to be awesome.
Fingers crossed.
I was talking to Emma about it last night, and I was like, have you heard this? And I'm like, oh, that's right. She didn't listen to the podcast, so she wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, what about it? I'm like, no, I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just going to wait until I speak to Phil, and then that way she can hear it straight from you.
That's cool, man. So it's cool. It's other than the farm, we've got a site happening next door. That kind of fell in our lap, and so we've got a biggie happening. We don't know when both are going to start because both are waiting for council. So
site next door to
Percy's
now at Nepean.
So there's 2 sites available now.
Centro,
yeah.
Not Nepean Square. Hasn't been Nepean Square for a long
it's
time.
Like Penrith Plaza, right?
That's right.
So next door we're planning on doing like a nighttime lunch and dinner eatery.
Okay.
Laneway style dining. A few different menus.
What building is that?
Do you know the Coco Jungle? Remember the jungle?
Okay.
Yeah. So that, and then in front of Coco Jungle there was a there used to be a chocolate bar. There's the one at the front used to be Mortgage Choice.
Okay.
So my business partner Jake's taken over that, turning that into a bar.
Okay.
I'm taking over the restaurant, and then we're going to kind of link them all together.
Yeah, nice.
And then have it. So there's a laneway. It's going to be weatherproof seating, and it's just going to be a cool lunch.
It's going to change that whole area.
And I think good thing about Nepean Village is there's a lot of parking at night, so it's easy to get in, grab some food. It's going to be chilled out food, not fine dining, just going to be real casual. That's going to be pretty exciting as well, and I think that'll support Percy's, and it'll be a cool experience.
So you got that and the farm going at once.
Yeah, so
shit.
Yeah, big year. I got good people around me. I've got a great team at Percy, so as long as we continue to do that, I think. I'll be fine.
You'll definitely be fine. I think you've got no problems.
I just probably won't sleep for the next year. So
That's fine. You don't need to sleep. Sleep's overrated.
yeah,
Plenty of time for sleep later on down the track.
100%. So
nothing but time.
yeah, some big things to tick off this year. But if we can get them both open this year, it'll be a big achievement, man. So
That's crazy.
yeah, pretty exciting.
There's going to be even more people walking around Kmart now, working off those pancakes they had for breakfast.
Yeah, man. And now you go for breakfast, come back for lunch or dinner at the new venue. So
I've noticed a trend every time we come for breakfast. The only time we go to Kmart is when I eat the pancake, because I need to go walk it off. I need to go and walk it off before I go sit in the car and drive home.
It's been a staple from day one, and we haven't been able to take it off the menu. So
I hadn't had it until only, I want to say, the start of November. I think was the first time, because it was always the lamb, eggs, Benny. Always.
That
was the staple. Every time we went there, it was coffee, eggs Benny, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, they've got a big menu. Maybe why don't I just try something else?
They got more than two things on the menu.
Why don't I just try something else once?
Yeah.
And then I got the pancake, and I was like, that's the new one for me. So Emma gets the eggs Benny now, and I just.
Do you share?
Okay. Oh, we used to.
Now it's just you focus on your meal, I focus on my meal.
That's right.
Nice.
And I'll eat mine, and then when she can't eat hers, I'll eat the rest of hers.
Nice.
That's the way that works. She doesn't usually take from me because she's usually.
Have you tried the? You got to try the cocoa pop panna cotta. It's
I haven't had it yet.
It's cool, man. It's another sweet version. So like,
okay.
I always recommend. I was talking to this to the guys as well. Is like you get a main each, like a savoury, and then have the cocoa pops or a pancake as a dessert.
On the side. Oh,
yeah,
dessert,
the cocoa pop panna cotta is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, right.
It's a summer dish, so I'm going to take it off before the next menu change, but it's a great summer dish, man.
Well, I've got a feeling we might either be there tomorrow. I've got a feeling Emma wants to go for breakfast, so...
It's pretty cool, man. Like,
Emma's been waiting for 2 weeks to go have breakfast now.
Yeah, 9 days closed. And it's been pretty nice to see, like, we're part of people's lives now. Mm-hmm. Like, people planning around coming to Percy's, and that's special, man. Like, again, I'm so proud of that, you know?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's really good. It's good, and it's good to see the same faces every time we go there.
Yeah.
Like, whether it is people that we do know or have seen in passing here and there, or they're just complete strangers. You walk in and you're like, oh, they're here for breakfast again too. Yeah. Like, it's just such a destination for people.
And that's exactly what I wanted to create with Penrith. You know, and that'll hopefully the farm will be a bigger version of that, but. It's so everything you've described about Percy is exactly what I wanted. So,
but you've achieved, like, that's the vision that you would have had.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Yeah, and that's
crazy.
That's why, like, I'm so proud, is because I always wanted to achieve that, and to hear people saying that. And I know we're not there yet, even though I feel like it's great to hear that. I just feel it's amazing to hear that.
I don't think you'll ever feel like you're there.
That's true.
Because you'll always think there's something you can improve on, or something. Always.
Well, they say if you feel like you've made it, then you should get out of the industry.
Exactly right.
So.
But as soon as I did mention to Emma about the farm the other day, I'm like, they're going to have animals, and straight away her eyes went gigantic.
We want to do, once we're a bit more established, we want to start doing like school excursions as well. So cool. People come, they learn about the cows, chickens, all that kind of stuff. And,
that's cool.
Yeah, so a lot of the things I do now are kind of see the life experiences, me childhood memories, all of my kids growing up. I'm like, what do my kids love? You know, they love the farm idea with the kids is going to be about interactions with that technology. Definitely. So a lot of activities that we did growing up, I'm going to implement them.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of like reliving our childhood.
Put the phone down, put the tablet down,
100%.
and go.
And the parents can eat while they see the kids. You know, we've got some really cool, like, everything we're bringing into Percy's, into the farm. Most cafes don't have these concepts for kids, so we're very kid friendly, kid focused, family focused.
See that all the time.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing. But at the same time, I also have to be mindful that if someone like you and Em comes in, we got to make sure that even though he's a family, you haven't got kids yet. We don't want. We try to find spots where, like, you come in. I want to make sure you're sitting in a spot where you're not going to be annoyed by my kids coming in. You know, so. But again, the community in Penrith is pretty beautiful, man.
We don't mind sitting next to screaming babies. That's fine.
But I've got to be mindful of that, because some people just don't want to be.
Some people hate it. Yeah, some people hate being in the same room where they can even hear it.
Totally,
so
man.
It's crazy. No, it's good. You've nailed it, man.
Thank you, brother.
It's great. I love it.
We're working on it, definitely. Thank you.
Every time Emma's like, what do you want to do on the weekend? I'm like, we should go out somewhere. And the first thing, as soon as she looks at me, I'm like, okay. Like, she doesn't even have to say it. It's like, okay, we'll get up in the morning, we'll go get breakfast.
Man. That's really cool.
It's great. And I'm sure a lot of other people feel the same way.
So it's man, I'm very humbled to hear that. So thank you.
It's great. I'm going to chuck in to this bonus question now that Emma sent through to me only a couple of hours ago. How and where do you source your food and produce from?
Good question. So when I first opened Percy's, I really wanted to be about, you know, working with local communities and local suppliers. It's very hard. to sit there and try to find certain people for certain things. So what we did was we're like, all right, let's work with people that have, sustainability in mind, things like that in mind. So same values, man. So it's essentially it's me now going to someone that has the things that I wanted to implement. So MD Providors is our fruit supplier.
Okay.
He works with local farms. Farms all around Sydney. Obviously, sometimes you gotta get stuff from interstate, whatever. But man, I've been to some of the farms like close by that he gets the lettuce from or whatever, So a lot of my produce. Obviously, we also have our normal suppliers. They get the ice cream and stuff like that. But I think the hard thing with cafes and restaurants these days is we want to focus. Like work with, as much as we can with local growers and whatnot. Definitely. Sometimes it's not practical or feasible to do that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, we make sure things like free range eggs and all that kind of stuff. So always trying to meet the standard, always trying to be like ahead of the game and think, what can we do next? So, but regarding all the produce, all our meats, making sure it's all free range, things like that, good quality, none of those. There's crap that put into the vegetables and stuff like that. So the suppliers, probably my biggest shout out would be to Mohammed from MD's Providor. He works very hard on good quality, working with good farmers, local farmers. He's starting to invest and working with farmers because a lot of these old school farmers, they're retiring, but the younger generation don't want to take over. So he's trying to work with them and invest in the farms. And
definitely.
He's amazing, bro. So I think
everyone wants to go be entrepreneur. That's what everyone wants to do.
Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, man. So
but no one wants to put in the work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's everyone wants. Yeah. What's to say? Everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die.
Yeah, exactly right.
But yeah, man, I think that word, like I always tell people, that word is something I don't even know how to spell it. So
yeah, that's right.
So it's definitely not. Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was until I started this, and they're like, "Oh, so you're an entrepreneur?" I'm like, "I'm the furthest thing from that you will ever find." Yeah, like that is definitely not the case.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, and realistically, if anyone wants to be an entrepreneur, the amount of work and effort you have to put in to be a real entrepreneur is
have to be obsessed.
Obsessed,
doesn't matter what it is, you have to be obsessed.
Totally.
And if you're not, you're just not going to make it.
100%.
You can spend 10 years just throwing money against the wall, and it's just not going to go anywhere.
100%, bro.
So you're best off paying someone to do what you want to do, or just continue working for someone and do your own thing on the side.
100%. So. And I think that's the thing as well. I think everyone feels now they have to do something.
That's right.
But man, at the end of the day, if you're comfortable working for someone and you enjoy your weekends off,
that's right.
Then keep working for someone. Exactly. So I've got to a point now where I'm usually there weekends, but I have a better lifestyle, and now I want more. I want to create a bigger business. I don't want more money. I want to create more opportunities. But, definitely. I think a lot people...
Money's the last thing.
Well, if you're doing it for money, then definitely not.
It's the wrong reason.
Yeah, 100%.
Wrong, definitely 100% wrong motivator.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, look, at the end of the day, entrepreneur, like, it sounds sexy, but it's the hardest. Like, you look at, like, Jake, my business partner, he's the real entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely.
And you look at how the things he's had to get through to get to where he is now. Yeah. Bro, it's man, I've seen the look on his face. There's days where I'm like, man, why do you do this to yourself?
Yeah, that's right.
So I just think it's a word that gets thrown around a lot, and it's
crazy.
Yeah,
a lot of people can't handle it. A lot of people don't like doing 10 hours a day at their job. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. I was talking to one of our customers today, and she goes, you probably struggled being away from work because you love what you do, so it's not working. And realistically, you have to love it, because then you can do 18 hours. You're like, oh, it is what it is.
It's nothing. You can do another 18 hours.
100%.
No problem. Give yourself a coffee and you just keep marching on.
It is what it is.
That's right. It's easy as that.
I finished at 2. Come back now. Once I finish, I'm gonna go back to Percys, do some more work. But
that's right.
I'm okay with that because I love it.
That's right. But it's not work.
It's not a chore.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's not a chore. That's the biggest thing. It's like every chance I get to not go to work, they're like, oh, there's not much work going on, or do you want to have an RDO and do some other stuff? It's like, I'll have an RDO. I'll stay home.
Yeah.
Because
work on your own thing.
I sit on the computer all day. So yeah, it's not making me money. I'm losing money by not going to work. Yeah. But I'm fine with that, because working on the business and the podcast and everything else, it's future. That's down the line. That's all. I don't care about today, tomorrow, the end of the year. I worry about 5 years time. Where am I going to be in 5 years time? Yeah. That's the thing. Everyone has a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan or whatever. It's not really that solid, I would say. Like, it's not. It's going to be A, B, C until we get to 5 years. 100%. But the goals are going to take that long to get there. And like I was saying with the podcast, I wanted to start it this year. We've already started. So it's already on track to everything's just going to happen soon.
You have to have a mark to hit, right? Like,
we have to.
So it's all about the journey not the destination. And I think
That's right.
you setting up the podcast, you say I want to start by 2020, but you realise 3 months earlier you could start it, and
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know you got to as long as you have a mark to hit. Then it doesn't matter if you get there 3 months earlier, 3 months later, but you have something to work towards. So your biggest goal in 5 years' time might take you 7 years, but you're working towards something.
That's right.
The biggest thing is like
Got to be 5 years closer.
100%.
If I didn't start,
yeah, man,
so
100%.
that's the whole thing.
Yeah, so I just think if you're passionate about it and you love it, keep working towards it. And
I just like to talk shit. For whatever reason, it's just
good on
what I
you,
do.
man. Yeah.
Every time I have a phone call with someone, they're like, "I gotta go," and it's like, "Oh, okay, no worries." And then 10 minutes later, it's like I'm still.
gotta go.
They're like, "Man, I've gotta go." Like it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, I think you're very similar to me, man. I love to chat. That's why I'm in the industry. Like my
Yep.
teacher once said to me in year 12, she goes, "Phil, don't you ever shut up?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, I don't."
No, I don't.
So I remember that.
Now you're in a perfect industry where you can talk to everyone and say hello to people.
Well,
and
it's funny. I don't roster myself on a section anymore because if I'm rostered on, say, on the deck at Percys and I'm working, if I'm rostered on that section, I get distracted. I'll start talking to you.
yeah,
2 hours
You're
later,
off somewhere
10
else.
minutes later, I'm sitting there.
you're off somewhere else.
Well, yeah, and they go, "Phil, where'd you go?" I'm like, "Oh, I was talking, you know."
Being friendly.
Yeah, my job now is just when I go there, I kind of make sure everything's running okay.
Yep.
But I don't
Float around.
I love to chat, man. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
it's
Yeah, I
good,
know.
man.
Every time we're there, say hello and have a quick chat.
always, bro.
And keep
So
going.
I think now I feel
I
like
try not to because I don't want to hold you up from doing what you're doing.
if I ever have to run off, I'll be back.
And
But-
you always do. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. So
No, it's cool.
No,
All
cool.
right, we'll jump to another question. Let's go. How important is the local community to you, and how do you directly add to or strengthen the community?
So there's the biggest things at Percy's is number one is my staff,
Yep,
which I call them
are amazing. They're
Percy
amazing.
family. They're amazing
Yeah.
humans, right? So there's the Percy family, there's the guests, and then there's community. So essentially, guests and community is working together, right?
Yep.
Man, community is so important to our business.
Massive.
It's so important to our business model. Like, it's not. I think people see we're genuine about creating community, creating we want to work together, and
Definitely.
it's so important to make sure that you're working within the because I love Penrith and I'm obsessed with Penrith and I'm a local. I think that's why Penrith has done so well because people see people want to support local people.
Definitely.
And it's people that love the fact that these guys are having a go.
Yep.
Especially Penrith people, they love to see people having
They
a go.
love it.
And
It's
because
great.
I'm a local, so many people say we come here because you're a local business and you support your local.
Yep.
All my staff are local or live within 15-20 minutes of Penrith.
Amazing.
I try to always hire locals, and I'm pretty proud that we've built an amazing business on the back of local people, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, bro, like community, when you say community, like it's everything to our business, you know? So how do we support the community? I mean, we try to do, whenever we do fundraisers, things like that, we always try to do community in mind. So I don't know if you've seen on our first birthday, we did a pay what you want day.
Okay.
And
I didn't say that actually.
yeah, so it was pretty cool, man. Like you come into Percy's on May 2019.
Yep.
You sit down, say you're coming for your normal meal.
Yep.
Your bill comes to $50 for two people. You go up to the register and they go, "How much would you like to pay?"
Okay.
So you could say $1.
Yeah. Wow.
You could say nothing.
Did you get a lot of people say, "I'll have this
Only
for
three,
free"? and walk out?
only three people. So you could pay $1 or $1,000.
Okay.
So we ended up raising on that day $25,000, man.
Wow.
22,500, but then we got an extra $2,500 in donations. And
Wow.
I remember that day, bro.
That's
Like,
crazy.
man, it was amazing because the money, every dollar that raised on that day went
Yep.
to charity. So it cost us maybe anywhere between $8 to $10 to run the day.
Yep.
Because once we paid the wages and the food costs and all that, and the rent and all
Definitely.
that. But what we got out of it, bro,
But the
was
satisfaction you get out of being able to
give back.
do
and
that, yeah, that's
Totally.
Wow.
Community showed me why Penrith is so special.
Yep.
So special, bro.
Yep.
And I think, to be honest, man, like, our business has gone from strength to strength from that day because the community came together, and now, bro, like now Percy's is a
People
family.
know,
You know,
that's
people
right.
like it's amazing. So for me, when we say as soon as you say community, my eyes just lit up.
Yeah,
because
I noticed.
I'm so passionate about Penrith. I didn't want to open. There was opportunities to open elsewhere, and I always looked at them. But opening a shop in Penrith was always my dream.
Always the number one.
because it's where I'm from. It's my home.
Yep. Well, I came. We'll run sideways quickly. I moved overseas to New Zealand in 2000
Whereabouts?
to Tauranga, Mount Maunganui,
Nice.
Papamoa.
New Zealand's amazing.
I was living in a lovely place called Welcome Bay. Ash and Chris, you'll probably watch this. You guys are amazing. I lived with them for a while I was there.
Oh, yeah?
They were most amazing people. They're currently over in WA,
Awesome, man.
visiting family and stuff for Christmas and New Year's and that. Amazing people. And then ended up moving out of their place to Papamoa, which was only just it's about 5-minute drive from Mount Maunganui itself. Amazing place. It's like one of the most Instagram places in New Zealand.
Wow.
Just most beautiful place.
North
Island, yeah. 2.5 to 3 hours south of Auckland on the east coast. Just off the east coast. It's like a weird little shelf there, but it's amazing place. Some of the best food I'd ever eaten in my life until I came to Percy's.
Come on, Ruby.
Some of the best food and coffee, but that's what New Zealand's known for, food and coffee.
I love New Zealand.
Beautiful, such a beautiful place. And when I moved there, I didn't have any intentions of coming home, just because I moved there with my ex, and I sold a lot of stuff I had here. Had 2 Skylines, lots of parts. I used to go drifting and all that back in the day. I would now if I could afford it, but I've got a business to worry about now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got to make those sacrifices. Got to put the fun times on hold for now. But living over there, it opened my eyes to what life was.
Yeah.
Because every time I'd see a post on Facebook or Instagram from someone back here, I hate my life or work so hard, it's like, you need to move country and try and find a job. Like, that's totally not easy.
You wait till you realise, you're in a foreign place. Like, not for, obviously you speak English in New Zealand, but everything's new.
It's just a culture clash.
Yeah,
even though it is only just across the ditch. And
how long did you live there for?
18 months.
Wow.
So the plan would have been to still be there now, but a lot of different things happened. Ended up moving home, but I started the clothing brand while I was over there. I actually don't think it's here, but I've got 3 diaries full of just ideas of businesses that I could have done.
Well done.
So, and I still want to try and get to a few of those once this takes off, and obviously the funds are there. The podcast and everything will help. Like it'll all be one thing. Totally. It'll all just work together. So, that'll all happen down the track. But coming back and then starting again, like that was like, okay, well if we can do that, then you can do anything you want. So, but then coming back, it was all about living life to not the absolute fullest, because you can't be on the edge all the time. You burn yourself out. You kind of got to stay within reality. But you got to do what kind of sets you on fire. You got to follow those thoughts and those ideas, not listen to anyone that tries to put you down, because the people that are trying to put you down are the ones that you know for sure would not get off the lounge and do it themselves. 100%. So anytime someone says something that is like they're trying to throw shade or they're trying to bring you down or something, it's just like, well, what do you want to do? It's like, well, why are you getting on me about trying to follow my dreams and my aspirations and stuff, you know? And some of them can't even answer the question. Yeah. They're like, I don't know. It's just like, well, maybe you need to ask yourself that question.
Why do people want to be negative? Like, why? I don't get it. Like,
it's harder. It's easier for me to say good job to someone than it is to say something bad.
It's harder. It's easier to be nice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't get that. I've never understood it, but like I said, I've never really had that negativity in my life, but I don't understand people that...
I've had plenty of it. It's the worst thing.
Just block it out, man.
Well, I've got big shoulders, so I can deal with it. That's fine.
Yeah, good on you, man. But what an experience. New Zealand, amazing
experience. But that was the whole thing. Living there was like just a massive eye-opener. It's just like, wow, it's like the last 20-something years of my life. It wasn't a waste, obviously, but it was just like, I thought I knew what life was and how to live until you move to
shock, eh?
It was... I went there for a holiday. We were there for 2 weeks, and then when we come back home, I was just like, "Fuck Penrith! I don't want to live here. This place is a shithole." Well, and then we made plans to move over there.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it was only like 4 months later we moved over there. So it was just like straight up, just sell everything. Let's go. Wow. We're going over there. And then that's when the shock hit. As soon as I got off the plane, and it was just like, well, where are we going to go now? Where are we going to live?
It's no holiday anymore.
Well, exactly right. So when holiday mode is gone, it gets real quick.
Yeah, bro.
And one of the first things that I thought of was a clothing company, but there is a lot of well-known worldwide companies that started and still run where I was living. So I was just like, well, how the fuck am I going to compete with these guys?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there was a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas to try and compete with them, but then the more things I came up with to compete with them, it was just like, that's just preposterous. Like, like it's just a waste of time and waste of money to try. So it's like, I'm just going to go do my own thing. And then that was the best thing I could have ever done. But then moving home, I had to change the name. It was just Perspective Clothing, but silly me registered it as a company. So because it was a proprietary limited company, I couldn't use the name in Australia because it was deceiving to consumers is the words ASIC used. So I had to change the name. It was all shut down, but because it had the PTY Ltd in it, they're like, we can't do that at all for you. So I had to change the name.
Another lesson you learn along the way. And
don't register it as a company unless you have plans for it to be a company.
Yeah.
So this could change down the line. If that's got to happen, it can happen.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, it's not that easy to go backwards. So,
but you learn as you go, man, and that's good on you, man. Like I said, just the fact that you've started is huge.
Well, you just got to start. You just got to do your own thing.
100%.
Got to have tunnel vision. The old Gary V. You got a big tunnel vision, and you just got to fucking go. 100%. Just got to put your head down.
You like Gary V?
I watch and share too much of his stuff.
Really?
Some of it is it's a bit controversial.
Yeah.
Some of it is not so great. And if a lot of people, or if I followed some of his advice to a T, it probably wouldn't work out that great for me.
But anyone that you listen to or follow, you should never take everything of his advice. You take bits.
Well, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Everything.
100%.
So him, Kerwin Ray as well. Watched a bit of him recently. There's a Australian fella. I'm pretty sure he's from Melbourne. Aaron Sansoni.
I've heard of him. I haven't.
Yeah, we went to an event of his at a hotel down at the airport. It was actually really good. It was really eye-opening to go to and listen to the whole thing about motivation in life, and this is how you do this is how you kind of accomplish this and go through that. And then at the end, it was just like, and now this is where you come join my VIP class.
Start selling.
And me and Emma realised we've looked at each other and gone, fuck, that was an hour and a half long sales pitch.
100%.
That's what it was.
They all are, man.
Yeah, but I'd never really focused on that before. You're just like, oh, this is mad, this is motivation, this is uplifting. But then we got to the end of it and we're like, that whole talk was just trying to get us to spend money.
That's
and
how.
I was just like, well, I'm like, I guess that's how you get people in. But then again, it's not all about the money.
Yeah, look, I mean, some people will sign up to it and pay for it because they'll add value to their lives, and that's why I try to follow a few people. Short term, yeah. So I mean, there's always people that are trying to sell you something, but if you find someone that adds value, then
always. Well, the thing I found that works, that has worked for me the most, that was full, and now I've only got a bunch of extra larges and 2 XLs, and everything else is gone, but it hasn't made me a bunch of money because I've actually given a lot of it away or done sales on stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's not about the money. So you need money to run and survive and be sustainable. But for now, me being in the position I'm in with the brand is just trying to support people. So I've got a young snowboarder that I support, a drifter, which is the gentleman I was talking to you about. That was at Glenmore Park yesterday, Ross. He's another legend, top bloke. I've got a couple of people that I do sponsor to help get the name out there. So they're massive help for me. But I couldn't care if they tag my name on Instagram or anything or not. It doesn't matter. So it's just like, here's a shirt. If you want to wear it, you wear it. It's fine. Yeah, but they're so helpful. They're always throwing the name up everywhere and getting it out every chance they can get. But when I set up those kind of deals with those guys, it was just like, well, you do what you want with it. I'll send it to you. You can wear it around, and they wear it around all the time. They love it. So
good on you, bro.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's not about money.
Well,
if I could do it for free forever, it wouldn't bother me.
100%, man. And eventually you want to get to a point where it's making you money and giving you income, but it's the passion, and the money will come through the passion. So.
Well, the money will just fund more passion.
100%.
That's the plan. It'll fund a new studio or a new thing to get more people involved, and I might just throw a jump to this last question, and we can just keep rattling on. Number 5 is this the path you envisioned for Percys, and where do you go from here? I know we did already touch on the farm and where you kind of see that going, but outside of that, so 5-10 years ago when you're thinking about wanting to have a cafe or an eatery or something, like, are you anywhere near that initial idea, or are you like miles away from it?
Nah, it exceeded every bit of my expectations.
Yeah.
I originally started wanting a small little kind of like shop, hole in the wall, but as my passion grew for the industry, I'm like, nah, it's got to be something special. It's got to be a destination. It's got to be entertainment wise. Right. I mean, I'm telling you, bro, like, I think the fact that we still get wait lists on weekends, 18 months on, the fact that people like you keep talking so kindly of, like, so nicely of Percy's, it's blown my expectation out the water. Now my standard and expectation is very high.
Yes.
You know, so when it doesn't hit those expectations, when we don't do the numbers we want to do, or when we don't hit the goals, man, totally. Like, it's like, what am I doing wrong?
Yep.
We might have an amazing week, and then come Monday, if we have a quiet day, I'm like, what have we done wrong? Yep. Why doesn't anyone hear?
Yeah.
But it could literally be that
people just gone on holidays. A whole bunch of people gone on holidays or something.
Yeah, man. So I think, you know, obviously now I have bigger goals and bigger, but Percy's is like my child, right? So
definitely.
It's my third child now.
Yeah.
It's I'm obsessed about it. It's exceeded every bit of my expectation. The goal now is to maintain what Percy's is and keep growing it.
Definitely.
You know, keep growing it bit by bit. So keep doing the little things right. You know, if it's helping someone, an elderly person up the stairs, or if it's doing the little things right, keep improving our menu, keep making sure we're ahead of the game. I want to be an institute for Penrith, and I think we're not there yet, but I think we're getting there. We're working towards it. But to say, did I envision this? Everyone wants a successful cafe.
That's right.
I think now I can say that I'm proud to have something that, like, I look at it, I'm like, man, I didn't think I'd ever have anything like this.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a beast of a business. So hard to run. First 12 months, even though I loved it, I hated it.
Yeah,
bro, I struggled a lot the first 12 months.
Way more hours than you should be spending at one place.
I'll tell you, I tell this story to everyone because the reality of how hard it is.
Yeah.
So just before I opened, about 4 weeks before I opened, I was getting a bit of anxiety. Thinking, I've never had anxiety in my life or depression or anything. And it just hit me. And 4 weeks before we opened, I called Tyson, who was general manager of great venues, and I said, look, I need your help. I'm struggling. Like, can you help me finish off this build? Came on board, had an amazing, big impact on my life. And then we opened on the Tuesday, smoothest opening you could ever imagine, from Tuesday to Saturday. Amazing, right?
Yep.
Like, I'm like, this cafe industry is pretty easy. Like, how easy is this cafe game? Come Sunday, Tyson gives me a clipboard and says, you might get a wait list today. I said, wait list? It's Sunday, like first weekend. Like, it can't be that busy. By 9 a.m, we're 100% full, 2-page wait list.
Wow.
And I, like, now, I don't know if you've been on the wait list before, but you would get your name and number, we send you a message when your table's ready. So that's...
I've had to stand in the doorway for maybe 5 minutes before. Yeah,
sometimes you have to wait for the, like, obviously the lines go through, but...
That's right.
Man, I'm telling you, like, it got to the point where I was trying to call people that were on the wait list, but then they won't pick it up, or more people were coming in, and I had new staff, and customers were coming up to me, congratulating me, family were coming congratulating me.
Yeah.
And by 11 o'clock, Tyson would see the look on my face, and I was going to cry. I was looking like I was going to die.
Wow.
And then he goes, look, give me the clipboard. All I want you to do today is just greet your customers and your staff and your guests, and just treat them as if, like, it's an open day for them.
That's right.
So I remember, finished off the day, 2 o'clock comes, I'm just shattered. Like 90% of people had a great time, but in my eyes, 100% of people walked away unhappy. I just seen so many things that weren't right, and I remember 2 o'clock.
To you, things that weren't right to you.
Well, exactly, and a lot of things that I'm still harsh on, but that's again what makes Percy special.
That's right.
I remember 2 o'clock, finish up, quiets down. By this point, everyone's starting to leave, and then I go into the bathroom, and I finish up, and instead of walking out, I just sit down on the toilet seat, like put the seat down, I just sit down, I just like break down.
Yeah,
and
right.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I literally said I can't do it, and
it's
I'm
too
like,
much.
Bro, my eyes were bloodshot, like a few tears.
Just ruined.
And I walk out, and Tyson, as I was walking out, Tyson was walking in, and he's looked at me, and he's seen my eyes, and he's like, I promise you it'll never be that hard again. And
it's only hard the first time.
It was the hardest experience of my life. We do days where we get double that revenue now, but it's such an easy day.
It's easy,
And we talk about comfort zone, to get out of a comfort zone.
Right.
That day, I always go back to that day, and I tell people that was like, that broke my comfort zone, you know? So going back to, did we envision this with Percy's? Man, it's blown every bit of expectation.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's blown it
very proud.
right out of the water.
100%,
it's amazing.
100%.
It's good to hear, because it's just, you need that.
Oh, man.
A lot of people need to hear that, because some of they envision going from A to B, but they only see the end result.
Yeah,
not
man.
not the work or the dedication it takes to get through those hard times to make it.
100%, man. And the things I had to do to get to Percy's opening was meeting cafe owners, restaurant
That's
owners,
right.
business owners. But I'd walk to, like, if you had a cool cafe, if your cafe was half cool,
Yep.
like if it was the slightest cafe that had a bit of like exposure,
Buzz about it. Yep.
I'd go in, I'd email them owner, or call the owner, or walk up and say, hey, can I ask you a question? What do you do differently? What do you do when you hire people? What do you do when you hire baristas, chefs? How do you create menu stories, menu boards, and
Trying to figure out what sets
what
them
works
apart.
and what doesn't? Yeah.
Yep.
So anyone that had a bit of a reputation, I wanted to see what made them special.
Yeah.
And I reckon that we haven't copied anyone, but I think at the same time, now I'm proud to say, like, if I go to a good venue, I'm like, hey, our venue could stand this.
You can stand right next to
Yeah,
them.
and I still think we've got a long way to go, but I think we're at the point now where I'm saying I'm proud of what we've achieved. You know, so
Yeah, that's great.
it's cool, man. So,
I seen you put out a list of a bunch of people in your Instagram story the other day on Percy Plunkett.
where we visited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I have seen a few of those names pop up, and I've heard you talk about a few of them in the past, but I've never been to any of them.
Yeah, and that's
So-
and that's what I love, like promoting other businesses, supporting other businesses. There's some great businesses.
But I wrote them down.
Did ya?
Yeah, I wrote them down. I'm just like, okay, the next time we get a free weekend or something, let's go for a drive. and
100%.
Just go explore
Yeah, man,
some
definitely
places.
all those places I wrote down.
Yeah,
Unbelievable, man. Like, it's either, there's some venues like Blackwood Pantry, again, a great food, great service, great coffee, great location, near Cronulla Beach.
Yeah.
Then you got the one in Thurl, called Wild Pear or Wild something. Just cool venues, good coffee.
amazing
Some
places.
are just good food and coffee. Some are crazy, great venues.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's cool.
it's good, man. Yeah, it's a good little break.
It's the plan for this year anyway. Start doing some more travelling around. Take the camera. Now that I've got a video
You're going to do
camera.
that?
Yeah, no, that's the plan.
That's
yeah,
awesome,
definitely.
man.
So if I could ring work right now and say, hey guys, I'm not coming back on Monday, I definitely would.
But you gotta,
But you got to pay the bills.
100%.
So at the moment, that's all I really care about. As long as the bills are paid, I'm happy to just keep chipping away, doing what I'm doing. So, but now that I've got a camera that works, I've got an actual photography camera. It just couldn't keep up with the video with the first podcast. It just overheats. Sensor overheats and it just shuts down after about 20 minutes. So
that's it, man. Bit by bit, you're growing what you want to do. So that's awesome.
well, I had a GoPro and the other camera going. So as the camera shut off, the GoPro was recording, and then every 10 minutes I'd have to roll over and turn the camera back on, and then the GoPro would shut off. So it was just constant battle back and forth. I'm like, I can't have this next time. So got the camera and I just turned it on and let it go for like 3.5 hours the other day. And I'm like, well, it's still recording, so that'll be fine. The red light's still going now, so that's it's a bonus.
It's a good sign, right? So
I don't even care if the camera craps out because we still got audio.
Yeah.
So that's the best.
And like anything, you're learning what works, what doesn't. It's cool.
Definitely. What I'm figuring out is it's good that there's a mirror behind you and I can see the computer. So if anything happens, I've kind of got a grasp.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not looking at myself in the mirror, man.
No, that's all right. Well, you're in my way too, so I can't even see myself. So, but I do want to try and invest. I want to try and use another room, or try and, even if I can rent a studio to actually do the podcast in. I know there are a few studios around Penrith. I have friends with a fair few musicians that hire studios to do music and stuff. So there's no reason you can't get a nice soundproof room, chuck a microphone in there, only need the laptop, and away we go. So there's some future plans to try and not step it up, but just to make it easier.
Yeah.
But that's the goal.
No, good on you, man.
Take the camera. 2020's travel. That's what it is.
Awesome. Where's your next trip?
Back to New Zealand.
Where do you go?
We're going end of March, start of April.
Nice. South or north?
Going South Island.
Nice.
Doing 10 days in a camper van around the South Island.
So good.
So we went to Queenstown. Well, we flew to Christchurch, drove to Queenstown last year to go snowboarding.
Amazing drive, eh?
Best drive ever.
I've done that drive like 8 times.
We stayed at Tekapo on the first night. Stayed at Lake Tekapo.
Have you been to Astro Cafe?
No. Is that? Oh, it's on the water's edge with a big telescope in there.
The stargazing place.
Yes. We had dinner there.
Oh wow.
We had dinner there the first night we were there. I've got some photos because they got a big telescope inside. You can go in and walk around and stuff. It was actually pretty cool. But we did. We went there.
That's
it's
awesome.
A great
man.
place.
Yeah.
We drove from Christchurch to Lake Tekapo, and then from Tekapo to Queenstown, and then we spent 10 days in Queenstown snowboarding all the various mountains.
You both love snowboarding?
Yeah, both. We both got taught by one of Emma's friends at the same time. So we'd never been before. So it was something that's actually a good experience for the two of us, because I've done a lot of BMX, motocross, drive, like racing, drifting, anything with wheels on it. Pretty much loved it.
That's
so,
awesome.
but I'd never snowboarded before. So, and neither had Emma. So learning together.
So good, man. Something you guys do together now.
Well, exactly right. So that's why we just want to travel around and go snowboard. But the trip that we're doing, in March is for our honeymoon, because we only got married in October.
Oh, nice.
We didn't want to try and book something or rush something between October and Christmas.
Yeah, true.
So that's why I thought we'll just wait, and it's peak season. So to do what we're doing now, to do what we're doing in March now is like $1,500 to $2,000 dearer. So it's like, so why waste the money?
100%. And
I'd rather go at the end of the season.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, everyone goes to honeymoon straight after the wedding, but then it's like, it's all this hype, excitement, and then it dies off. At least you guys wait 6 months, and then...
Well, Emma didn't know what to do with herself after the wedding anyway, because we done it ourselves. We had it down at Nepean River. The ceremony was down at Nepean River, and we had the reception here in the backyard. I'll show you some pictures when we've done here. But Emma pretty much planned the whole fucking thing. Like, it was amazing. She done such a great job. But after the wedding day, she was lost.
Yeah,
she didn't know what to do, because she'd spent 6-7 months planning everything, trying to make sure everything was right.
True.
And then after the wedding day, it was just, she's like, well, what do I do now? I'm like, just sit down and relax.
That's funny, hey?
Yeah. So, but the honeymoon is Christchurch. We're going to fly to Christchurch, get the van, either do Franz Joseph or Fox Glacier. Nice. And then work our way around the South Island, go to Milford Sound, go back to Queenstown, visit the places we didn't get to go to when we were there. Excuse me. Do the Milford Sound, go down to the bottom, down the Bluff, and then up to Dunedin, Timaru on the way back. So
good on you, man. It's New Zealand's my favourite place on this earth, man.
But I know a few people over there that live there now and that will be over there, so I'm going to take the microphone, take the laptop, take the camera, 100%. Try and do a few podcasts over there as well,
as much as you can. Get out of it.
Well, that's the plan. Just travel around, talk to some people, take the camera, do some more vlogs and stuff for YouTube.
I'll tag along. All right.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You'll have to pay for yourself, but
all right,
I can't afford that just yet.
I'm out.
I'm just a truck driver.
Yeah,
I can't afford anything.
Yeah,
I can't afford anything at the moment, but no, it's good. That's the plan. So we're gonna do that in March, and then as soon as we come back from there, it'll be April, June, it'll be back to winter. But with the fires currently, they got some big warnings in place now for Thredbo and Perisher.
I seen that yesterday, yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know what's going to happen there with the resorts, because they've been setting up all the snow guns and stuff they usually use to make snow with all the hoses, so they can use the water to kind of try and keep the village down there safe. So we don't even know what's going to happen next winter. So we're trying not to plan that now, because we're
one at a time. Go to New Zealand.
Things.
Yeah, exactly.
There's bigger things at hand than going snowboarding. So that's crazy.
Exciting year for you, but man,
it's full on. I'm already starting to stress now just thinking about everything that's involved.
Just break it down one step at a time, man.
That's all we can do. We're kicking goals. We've already 9. I wouldn't have said. I'll say 9 out of 10. It's way over the mark, but most of the goals that me and Emma personally and together and with the business have set for 2020, 90% of them are already started, already in motion, and that was before New Year's, like I was saying before. So we're not waiting until New Year's Day to start with a resolution.
100%.
The plan's in place. It's already started, and this was part of the plan. So until I asked you to be on this podcast today, I'm pretty sure it was like 2 or 3 times before that where I had spoken to you. I wanted to ask you, and I was just like, "No, he won't do it." I'm like,
man, don't be silly,
why is he going to want to come and sit down with me and talk to me?
When you asked me, I was like, "What do you want to talk to me?" Like,
I know. I remember that's what you said. I'm just like, it's Percy Plunkett, man. I want to find out.
That's really nice, man.
How it works.
And like I said, bro, I was 2-3 years ago, man. I was reaching out to people, asking, "Can you help me learn?"
Yeah, that's right.
So for me, anyone that wants, like I said, I don't know if I add value, but at the same time, if I can help get an idea or an insight or help motivate someone, beautiful. I'll do it.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. So, well, it helps me. It's like I said before, I'm in school here. I'm
Cool,
learning
man.
to talk to people.
Totally.
I'm learning all this electronic stuff, and
Yeah, man.
always been kind of okay with cameras, but audio's
Yeah, bro.
it's kind of gotten away from me in the last little bit. So, but no, we're learning. We're getting on with it. The first podcast by myself was great. I didn't have to talk to anyone. All I had to do was look at the camera. That was easy.
Yeah, totally.
The second one with JB was a massive learning curve just with the camera because I hadn't tried to sort any of that stuff out beforehand. And this one has been fucking great. This has been awesome so far. And then the next one's going to be better. And then the next one's going to be better.
It's going to get better.
And,
you'll learn and you'll listen back and you'll be like,
exactly.
that's what we got to do. And this, it's like anything. It's like Percy. I'm always finding ways to get better. And
you have to.
Yeah.
The actual most amazing thing about the second podcast I've done with JB, this was from SickFX, every issue that everyone presented to me about that podcast was stuff that I had already knew and recognised because of the camera going back and forth. The audio quality wasn't that great just because it was only needed a couple of settings changed on the computer, be a lot better. So people are like, oh, you need to fix this, you need to fix that, because I put a thing on Instagram saying, please go and watch it. I don't, even if you hate it, please tell me how much you hate it and tell me what was wrong with it so I can fix it and get better for next time. And no one said anything to me that I didn't already know, which sounds like I'm just being an arrogant arsehole there. But I was already conscious. You
identified it.
I was already conscious of, okay, the camera is shit. Like, I need to fix that. Definitely need to fix that. Need to fix the audio. I need to fix a few things with myself, the way I talk and all that stuff. But it comes with practice.
100%.
So we just got to do it.
You're never going to get to the end result just by waking up one morning.
Definitely not. You just got to do it. So, all right, I'm done with the questions.
It's amazing, man. Thank you for good questions, and I enjoyed this, bro. And I'm learning off you too, man.
I spent a while trying to come up with this stuff because I don't want to. Like I said to you at the start, I've got 5 questions for every guest that I ever have. Always going to have 5 questions, but they're not going to be the same. Yeah, so that's the hard part. So, and the bonus question from Emma this afternoon, I'm like, I'll just throw that in there.
Good question. That was a great question.
But that's what I was sitting down on the lounge the last couple of nights trying to think. I don't want to just be like, how do you do this, or why do you do that?
But like you said, you start talking about something and then you kind of go to another question.
Well, it just, as you talk, the conversation goes, another question arises, or you start talking about something else, and it just keeps flowing, which is great.
No, totally, man.
It's awesome. So that's why I was saying those 5 questions could take half an hour. They could take 3 hours. Who knows?
Man, the fact that you invited me over, I've got all the time in the world. So thanks.
No, I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thank you very much for coming.
You're always at our house. I'm glad that we could.
I've got no problems with that. So
so
that's cool.
No, thank you, brother. I think you're onto some good things. So well done.
I'm doing my best, and what I want to do, hopefully by the end of the year, I will have interviewed a few more guests and probably more people that you know and that I will get to meet. And I want to try and do like a group thing at the end of the year, so that way you can run through how great the year was and the goals you ticked off and just start bouncing ideas for 2021.
I think it's a great idea, and I think there's a really cool podcast I listen to, and he always says at the end of the podcast is who do you recommend me speaking to next that you know? Okay. And that way there you reach out. So I'm telling you, for example, I'll say go speak to Jake Farragher.
Yep.
And then you write that down, and then I'll shoot you his number, and then say, hey, I got a podcast, and then that way you just learn, and he knows someone that's more experienced, and then so you keep learning off different people. So
a whole bunch of people that I had written down and emailed, I've probably emailed like 150 people.
Wow.
Some have got back to me, others are like, I'll get back to you when I can, because everyone's busy. I don't expect people to just at the drop of a hat come and do what I ask them to do. You got to work with everyone. And with work, hours are massive, so I've got to work around that too. But a lot of the people that I had on the list, I have crossed off the list that I not necessarily don't want to talk to now, but I've just kind of I've just jumped up a level. So I want to try and, that just sounds like I'm a fucking idiot now.
No, you want to learn and grow.
I want to learn from the people that are at the top of their game.
Totally, man.
Even though I'm just a small fish at the moment, but I want to throw myself into the deep end. So
essentially, you don't want to chat someone that hasn't started a business that's sitting at home.
That's exactly right.
You want to chat someone that's been there, done the experience. And that's the thing. I only took advice from people when I was opening Percys that had been there and done that.
Exactly right. And that's where doesn't help me because you don't own a clothing company, but it's not. This podcast isn't about the clothing stuff. So
see, this is the thing, and once you talked to your head about different passions, but I think the beautiful thing is once you've beyond perspective is pumping and killing it. The great thing is you can go open a cafe because even though I only recommend opening a cafe if you're obsessed and passionate, but
I probably would not.
The difference is like I think once you know how to run one business, you can run 10 different businesses.
Well, that's exactly right. So that's the whole. I'll get to it now. Actually, the 100% goal with the podcast is business. So
awesome.
And the whole plan is for it to be local. So I do have a few people international that do want to help out. How that's going to work with a Skype call or something like I was explaining earlier, that's going to be a bit difficult. I'd rather get a bunch of these out of the way first, so it's dialed on my end, and then we can work on that. But I want to do as many local people as possible, and just try and get it in the local community.
Totally, man. Back to community.
Well, it's just more personal. There's a lot of places that I've been told to steer clear from in Penrith. It's probably because they've had one bad meal there, or they've heard something about a person that works there or owns a place or something. It's just like, well, have you been there though? Oh no, I don't want to go near the place. It's just like, well, maybe just go there and experience it for yourself first. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't, and to be honest, man, unless someone was super rude, I will never talk bad of any business.
No, never.
And anyone that has the balls to open a business, doesn't matter if it's clothing, cafes, restaurants, whatever it is, man, you like support everyone. Like there's, like I said, man, high street depots, the Henry Marks, Emu Hall's opened recently. You got some cool little cafes around.
Crazy that place.
Yeah, huge, eh?
It's amazing.
Such a beautiful venue. So man, just support local, support each other, and you got the right idea, man.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm here.
Keep doing it.
That's it.
Good on you, bro.
All right, have fun, everyone. That's Phil Helani from Percy Plunkett. If you haven't been there, you need to get there now.
Totally.
You need to get there today. Oh, you can't go there now. You can't go there now.
No, you go today. We're gonna let him down. So.
You're gonna let him down.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on and talking so highly of Percy's, and
no problem.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good man. My pleasure, brother.
Take care. See you later. All right.
Sweeter than